Okay, this is trying to see if this works of the battle that John and I did and show people sort of what's going on. This is the Battle of Ankik, the snow-based ones. This is my side. I brought an Oath's Arvernii army. These are some of the Celtic forces. I have horse, 2 heavy horse. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 3 Oathsworn, 3 chosen spearmen, and 3 chosen swordmen, so meal heavy army, and I have some flankers now. As you will see from this, as I get going, I cannot see where John's army is to start. That is because of the snow and forest conditions. That actually hides troops. So when we pause, there's a bit of a... so we're playing now. I'm going to speed this up a little bit, and this was a bit of a submarine behind the other side. We thought this would be a little interesting to try. So let me speed it up quite a bit here because we got some opening. You can see the game in total lasted 15 minutes. This is it counting down. And the first 2 battles we had while this is going through, fairly simple one, going up a hill, John defeated me quite handily. And then a river ford crossing where I did excellent, did everything, and didn't save a replay. So you'll just have to imagine what a great victory that was. But we wanted to increase the testing here. So first of all, as you can see, each unit has different stats. They're all determined and sort of balanced. There's a coin cost that is in the database files. We can pull that for the campaign. And this is really what we're looking at for a battle simulator. So pretty good detail. You can zoom in if you want to the troop levels and get sort of a down in the individual level view. And there's going to be a little bit of time here while we try and figure out. You can see here on the battle map, this is what I see. I've got my 2 flanking forces out trying to find contact with John. There, you can see this is the first time I see him. So I see his now. I don't know what he's got going on the other side. This is filmed from my perspective. 2 of his units, and that's the cavalry. They make a disappearance into here. So I assume that John's force is either back here on this hill or somewhere in this valley with a thing. So I begin shifting my army. You can see it shifting here. It's beginning to shift now so that my left flank is now. And over here is where John makes a very good move. He brings out one horse into the open. I charge both my horses only to realize he's got his entire army right there. So you're going to see this unit here try and nope away and get actually, you can see the arrows come flying, full stream of arrows coming here, just chewing up my cavalry. Right now they've got, let's see, they're down to 41 men. So they've lost 20 units, and that was a great move by John. So now I kind of know where his army is, and my army is well out of position. You can see here my left flank encountering his whole army. So I'll speed this up again, of shifting my army back to confront this veil. And this kind of creates a running fight where I try and bring in my wing way too far out back in to counter his. And, not all battles have to be in weather. This is something we chose to do with terrain. A lot of times you'll see tournament battles that are just on a green field. It's clear conditions. There's no variables. That's not necessarily as fun, and you tend to get battles that look the same. So you can see now where we're starting to encounter. This is his cavalry here. I've managed to capture that. I'm going to hit him with my spears, hopefully try and catch him, but he does a pulling away. And again, these fights I think are a little more entertaining because they're not always the set piece that you imagine without having to maneuver your armor around or find contact. You can see here I've got my right wing coming in and spearmen trying to catch him. I'm going to sacrifice my javelin men to stop him. These are his auxiliary cavalry. He brought Rome. He was playing Rome this time, and Rome tends to have stronger forces. So at the same time I'm monkeying around over here, he's bringing his entire army up, and this is where I start to create. I don't really have good flanks. I've got units coming in piecemeal. I do manage to isolate and trap his 2 cavalry here, but you can see I've moved quite a bit of spearmen and javelin over to do it. So I'll end up destroying these 2. But in the meantime, he's got superiority over me in numbers. So real quick, let's go through John's order. Let's see, he brought some slingers. I think he's got some archers in there as well. Here's the Syrian archers. He has these Soki Equites Extraordinary. These are heavy cavalry. He's got some heavy units that heavy infantry, almost on par with my Oathsworn. He's got some light, heavy. So you see here, the square is very heavy infantry. The diamond is heavy infantry. And I don't think we have any of the lighter infantry. They'll get down into circles, so you can kind of tell what you're facing up against. And this is a very heavy and very heavy infantry. It's a very chunky battlefield. So, and he's also brought his own spear, his Triari, which are heavy spearmen. And this square here, this is the general and bodyguard. He's got his, I think if we zoom in, yeah, that's cavalry. And that's one of the fun things about this battle is every individual person on field has its own stats, and you can kind of see down to the individual level what's going on if you want to zoom in. So the battle's now being, the main engagement's taking place. I'm coming in, slow it down a little. 5 minutes left. So I'm coming in doing flank attacks. The problem is I'm trying to recover my units that were well out of position at this point. So I've successfully destroyed his cavalry flank, but now I've got all these units over there that have to come back and run across this snowy field while he's got all these units locally, and you're going to start to see him really chew me up. Good engage his archers on the side, but that keeps him from doing anything, and now he's going to bring his heavy cavalry in and charge my heavy horse. One of the big things in this style of battle is flanks, rear attacks, charges. All of those things matter. You can't just get everyone in a mob together and hope that works. You've got to spread your forces out and think about things like your flanks, who's getting charged, rear charges. So it has a really good realistic feel from the battle standpoint. Generals have abilities. Mine had an ability to rally the troops and inspire individuals with certain abilities. They're all pretty much standardized in multiplayer. So at this point, I'm actually feeling pretty good. My center's holding, but if I look on the inside here, my center, it's holding, but it's starting to see low numbers come out, 70 out of 120. This group's now wavering. And so I've dealt with his flanks, but my center, my main line, is starting to collapse in the middle. And I don't think I realized it at this point. I'm still trying to recover my flanks. And John did a really good job. All his units here are focused in on my center, and just the arrows coming in, the slings coming in. You can shoot your own guys in the back, so you got to be careful. I don't know if John knew that, but it clearly paid off for him here because he's chewing through my main heavy tanky units. I finally am able to send my cavalry into his backfield to deal with his archers. And you can hear, let's watch the cavalry charge, goes right in there. You can get really close in if you want to the battle and start seeing. You can see his units are now wavering as my guys deal with him, but he's got his spear available because he has a superiority. He can turn his spear around and charge my guys, which is what he does very well. Good reaction. And as a result, my cavalry, the one that got munched earlier, it's already breaking. So after the earlier thing, it breaks and it's now fleeing the field. And the problem is exhaustion does matter. You can see these guys, you can see in there, they're tired. So you can't just march units all around the field and not have that cost you in the long game. And you can see here, so much red, so many Romans. This was bad. Let's speed it up because it's pretty much, the writing was on the wall at this point. I'm desperately trying to bring in these forces. Now, if this were a campaign game, I'd retreat. I'd save these guys. I'd save my general. I'd try and disengage and preserve my forces. But since this is a multiplayer battle, throw it all in. All in. You only live once, right? And so I've got, my units are breaking. They're wavering even before they come in because they're tired, they're cold, they're miserable. They're like, why are you making us charge this huge match of the Romans? And this ends up not working out very well. So I'll just speed it through here. So this was a game that went to John. Again, even though there was unequal sides in units, the coin cost of this was actually the same. So that's a balancing mechanic we can use, is that all of these units have coin costs, and even though Rome brought more troops, they were balanced in theory with what I paid for mine. So I'm going to stop the snow. Good one for John, good win, good use of terrain and cover and pulling my cavalry in earlier to get the early hits on. So I'll try and see if I can stop this and upload it. Thanks.